So I'm at practice right now, and after being injured for over a year, today my goal is to hit 5 flares again. Now the last couple of weeks I've been trying out flares very slowly because for over a year I could not do any type of power move with my legs open and stretched. And if you've been wondering why I didn't upload a lot of power move tutorials lately, well, there's your answer right there. So let's get warmed up and let's go through a few challenges that I actually give to my students. But today I will be the student. Let's go. Now, because I'm coming from a groin injury, I'm really taking my time and taking my warm-up very, very seriously. For this warm-up specifically, I added a little bit of Jean-Claude Van Damme's. Well, that's what we call them. Basically like a high kick position, trying to keep your body straight. And then you can do leg lifts, or you can just hold that position. Both are really, really good just to warm up, but also good for just reinforcing the muscles you need for, like, for example, flare. Another one I included was just like sitting down and doing leg lifts. Also kind of targets the muscle group that I need for my flares. Even if you're not coming from an injury, I still really recommend you guys to take your warm-up very, very seriously so you can prevent injury. So after the warm-up, I just freestyled a little bit, but now it's down to business because now we're gonna start with getting those flares back and getting that tight, light power move back on track. So the first thing I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna rehearse the basics of the flare and see what the flare feels like today. Because there might be days that your injury still might feel kind of fragile because of like a bad sleeping position or something like that. I remember a few practices ago, I just felt like it wasn't the best day for me to practice flares. So that's why rehearse the steps slowly. Also just a great way to warm up for your flare. All right, so now I'm slowly getting ready for some flares. My goal for today is hitting 5 clean flares. If I hit 5 clean, I'm a happy man. Last practice, I hit 2 really clean to a windmill, but today I gotta surpass that. Now before trying 5 flares, the first thing I wanna do is I just wanna build up to that point and also clean my flare up and build up my strength again and all that. We're gonna do some exercises that I share on my flare masterclass. So the first one I'm gonna do right here is basically doing 1 flare and passing the point of doing 1 full rotation. Basically starting a second flare and then just gently putting my feet on the floor, landing it all nice and clean. This is gonna be my first real flare of the day, so let's just hope everything goes well and it's gonna be a good session. So that didn't go as smooth as I wanted it to go. Still feel a little afraid that I might go overboard and get that injury back again. So I kind of have to build trust up slowly. So let's add a little bit more speed and hopefully we'll get a little less scrape in the back so we can push on to the next phase of this exercise. A little slipperoo right there. However, it did feel really good though. Try that again. That was definitely a lot lighter. Still had a big ass scrape with my right foot on the floor. All right, let's go. Let's do this one again. Hit it clean. Woo. So definitely the best one up to now. It definitely felt a lot lighter in the back. Try one more, and then let's move on to the next challenge. Yes. Okay, great. I really do miss the feeling of executing 20, 30 good looking light flares. So the next exercise that I love to give my students is just combining your flare to a windmill and then pushing the numbers. And that's exactly what I need for today. So I'm gonna be starting out with 1 flare, not scraping the floor, and then combining it to the windmill. But this transition usually is a lot smoother if you use a baby freeze or a turtle freeze in between. A lot of people kind of dive in there. To be honest with you guys, if you wanna dive in there, then you gotta dive in there. You know what I mean? If you're just doing a normal flare to windmill, you gotta use your baby or turtle freeze. It just looks so much smoother. So let's try and hit 1 flare to the windmill without scraping. Kind of weird for me to say that, but here we go. It did feel kind of fluid. Did have a big ass scrape right there. So let's do this again, and this time, no scraping. My foot didn't scrape the floor. However, my knee did kiss the floor gently. So I'm gonna have to do 1 more before I can move on to 2 flares to windmill. Just wanna add, it's important to like dance before you do your flares, man. Like get used to be on the music before you execute that flare. Don't just come up there and be like, it's time for power moves. I wanna hit that beat. Ooh, yeah, that was smooth, right? Because I added this style, man, I'm telling you. All right, so we pulled off 1 clean flare to windmill, no scraping. Y'all saw it, right? So now we're moving on to 2 flares, no scrape, down to windmill. A little bit disappointed. However, we're gonna do this again. Just let me catch my breath really quick. All right, here we go. 2 flares to windmill, no scrape. Just had a little bit of scrape while combining first flare to the second flare. Damn. Told you, man, it's a style, bro. You add the style, you add the flavor, you're not scraping anymore, man. Anyway, so far so good. No groin pain. So 3 flares, no scrape. Windmill, which is now gonna be the first time that I'm actually gonna do 3 flares in a row. In over a year. No scrape, bro, no scrape. That flavor. That means we can move straight to four flares to windmill. Damn, 3 flares. Still a lot of work to do though. It's gonna take me at least a couple of months to be back on track, assuming I'm not getting injured again, right? So whoever's watching this video and is not injured at this moment, warm up carefully, think about what you do, because you don't wanna go through these setbacks, man. Anyways, move on to 4. That was pretty clean and not feeling the groin. Good. However, I am feeling the wrist. All right, so I'm gonna give it one try to hit 5. All right, here we go. The moment of truth. My wrist is telling me that this is the absolute limit for today. Yo, that felt so good. That felt amazing. So groin-wise, I'm actually looking very, very good. Wrist-wise, I think the wrist still has to adapt a little bit. Me training on this spring floor isn't gonna do any good neither. However, I am really, really happy with this progress. Coming from the idea that I couldn't do any type of power moves with legs open, not even like a windmill. So hitting 5 flares today is definitely a thumbs up. So for the future, I have to start normalizing executing multiple flares of training again, just so I get more comfort. That will translate in my flares being higher, maybe more open. A big part of my muscle memory is telling me not to go full power, but time will definitely fix that. And hopefully in like a month or 2, I'll be able to do air flare again, these kind of things. First, I gotta lighten up, and that's why these flares are absolutely perfect for that. Flares literally transform your body from normal human to superhuman. That's why your flares are so important. So I'm gonna hit my workout and stretching right now. If you're working on flare, you can find tons of YouTube videos on flare on my YouTube channel. And if you're really taking it seriously, then you can check out my flare masterclass that you can find on my website. I hope you enjoyed this video, because at the end of the day, when you think about it, it's just all about that b-boy. I wanna hit that beat. Peace.